guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanya, and today I'm going to do a reaction video for you. But before I get started on the reaction video, I just wanted to say something really quick about what happened yesterday here in America. I'm pretty sure everybody has heard by now that Charlie Kirk was shot and assassinated in Utah. And a lot of people are disgustingly online celebrating it. And there is, first of all, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. I feel so sad for his family and his friends. I think it's terrible what happened to him. And you guys know I'm not a political channel. I don't like politics. I don't like talking about politics. But Charlie Kirk was also not a politician. He was just a man who had a political view and political opinions that a lot of people share, and he was killed for them. And I actually do agree with a lot of the views that he has or had. There were one or two things that I fully disagreed with that he would talk about, but regardless of that, he did not deserve what happened to him. Nobody deserves that. I actually really liked Charlie Kirk. I liked watching his debates. I thought he was brilliant. And I have not been able to stop watching coverage about it since it happened. Last night I was sitting on the couch just bawling over it. But the biggest problem are the people that are getting online and celebrating it. Nobody should celebrate the death of another person. There are people in this world that I dislike, and maybe I wouldn't be sad if they passed away, but I definitely would not celebrate it. And the worst part about that is it's not just crazy, weird TikTokers making comments like this. It's full-on media, like mainstream media, saying really ridiculous, outlandish things. And it should not be happening at all. So I just wanted to say something about it. I know that today is also 9/11. You know, never forget. But today I just wanted to talk about the Charlie Kirk thing because it's fresh in my mind. It just happened yesterday. And I'm really upset about it, as are many people. And a lot of people might want to comment and say, well, maybe if America would stop allowing guns and all this, the guns is not the problem. And you guys need to wake up and realize that. It's the people kill people, you know? People kill people. In the UK, knife violence is a big problem right now, and people are dying, getting stabbed to death. And they don't have guns. So it's not about the guns, it's about the person. So that is the problem. And it's in our Constitution that we are, you know, allowed to have guns. While I am not a gun owner and I don't really care to have a gun personally, I am all for people owning guns legally. I am all for people being allowed to have guns in their homes for protection and things like that. I just think it should be maybe harder to get one, but you should still be allowed to have a gun. And Charlie Kirk was fighting for that right also, and he would still sit here today after getting shot and still fight for it because he believed in it. Anyway, I don't want to make this a big political rant, but I just wanted to, I felt like it was just not right for me to come back on here after being sick all week, not posting at all week, to just not say anything at all about it. So I wanted to say something about it, and these are my opinions. These are my personal views. You don't have to agree with me. That is the beauty of freedom and freedom of speech is we are allowed to have our own opinions, and we are allowed to express these opinions. It's not okay to kill people over you not agreeing with their opinions. That's not okay, and that will never be okay. Anyway, so I just wanted to say something about it. I would not feel right posting a video today if I at least didn't say something, even though it's not my forte or whatever. But I was a Charlie Kirk fan. I did like watching his debates. He was such an intelligent, well-spoken person. And I think people thought and still think that they're shutting up a certain group of people by doing this. But you open Pandora's box, and it's not his voice is only going to be louder now. So anyway, let's go ahead and just get into the reaction for today. I apologize for starting off this way. Like I said, I felt the need to do so. But today's video is a channel I came across called Sam Ford. His name is Sam Ford. And he, I believe, is from the UK. And he has a video that he posted 2 months ago called 10 Words I'm Shocked Australians Say Differently. And so we all know Americans say things very, very differently than Australians and also, you know, British people. Whereas a lot of times Brits and Australians have the same or very similar pronunciations of words, even if Americans say things very different. So I'm curious to know if there are things that he finds on this list that, like, I wonder if there's anything that I say the same as an Australian that Brits say differently. I'm very curious about that. Real quick, I hope you don't mind. Also, like I said, I've been sick. So I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna eat a cough drop during this. If it bothers you, sorry.
Australia sometimes feels like living in a parallel universe, and I'm not even exaggerating. I once asked for a vitamin, and the chemist looked at me as if I'd kicked her dog. So these are the 10 words that I can't believe Aussies say differently from Brits. Let's get into it. Hey mate, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Sam, a British actor documenting my journey of rebuilding my life in Australia. Now, I have to say, I adore Australians. I married one. Okay, and I adore the accent. The first one is almond. My wife, who born and raised in Brisbane, Australia, she says almond. Almond?
Yeah, I say almond. Like, we don't... I don't know if this is an American thing or if it's a Midwestern thing, but we often don't end... Like, we don't say we don't pronounce the last letter of a word. So like if the word ends in T or D, we cut off the word and don't even say the D or the T at the end. So I say almond. It's kind of like saying A-L-M-I-N, almond.
I'm like, what are you on about, almond? It doesn't even remotely sound like you're trying to say the L in the word. Now look, I fell in love with an Australian, and she brought me to Australia to see what I thought of it, and I fell in love with Australia too. I love living here. It's one of the best countries on the planet. But the first time someone came over to our place and asked us for some almond milk, I was like, what are you saying? Right, the more I say almond milk, which is what British people say, the more obnoxious I can hear myself sounding. Almond. Wow, that is actually quite grating, isn't it? If you're going to say a word, does kind of sound weird. At least say...
What's really weird about that too is that Brits often do like the ah sound for A's. So like, depending on what part of the UK you're from, you'll either say like the gloss or the glass, the bath or the bath. So it's interesting that they say almond and not almond. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, how it's spelled. Now, look, I can feel people tippy-tapping on their keyboard right now going, well, that's not the rule with words, that we have silent letters and all of that. Fair. Valid. Hey, valid. But almond milk, come on, English speakers. You look at that word and you go, that's an L. That's an L, not an R. I don't see a H. Number 2.
So you guys say almond? Or say almond, just without saying the L part. Americans say the L. We say almond. We don't over enunciate the L, but like you can tell you're saying almond. Almond. I don't know.
Is the word capsicum. Now, if you're British, unless you're a botanist, you probably don't know what capsicum means. I'm making a very big claim there. Right, in the UK, and I'm pretty certain in the USA,
we pronounce it pepper
because it's kind of shaped like a bell. Look, I can see we're reaching at that. Hear me out, right? When my wife and I first got together in Japan, we were dating. I was, working the old charm. What am I doing? I wanted to cook some dinner for her. And I think she offered to help me in the kitchen. She was looking through the ingredients in the fridge. And she said, "Oh, do you need this capsicum?" I whipped my head around and I said, "Sorry, what did you just call my mother?" She was like, "No, what are you on about? Do you need this capsicum?" I said, "I don't know what you've done to that bell pepper, but it's not called that." I said to her, "How many other words have you changed in Australia?" Anyway, after a long discussion with her,
See, we have that in common with the UK. We call it a bell pepper. We don't say capsicum here.
Falling more and more in love with me. I had to Google it, and clear as day, Wikipedia talks about a bell pepper original plant name being capsicum. So, I have to hand it to her. So academically, Aussies are 100% correct when they say capsicum. But bad news and good news, bell peppers are so expensive here in Brisbane, Australia, that we never buy them anyway. I swear, when I go to Aldi, it's like $6 for one singular green capsicum.
That's another thing. Aldi. Like, they say, gloss, but they say Aldi. It's so bizarre to me, because we say Aldi. Like the word all, like A-L-L, all of us. We say Aldi. Why don't they say Aldi? Why is it Aldi? How do Australians say it? Do you also say Aldi?
That's not even the good one. Number 3 is towel.
Towel.
Now, how would you say towel now? Wherever...
I say towel, like T-A-L, towel. And that is how everybody I know says it. I think it's a regional thing. There are Americans who pronounce it towel. But for me, it's a one-syllable word. And for most of the people I know, it's a one-syllable word, towel. Same with crayon. Get a coloring book and crayons. It's one syllable. C-R-A-N-S, crayons. Not crayon. But there are Americans who say crayon. But I say crayon.
Whoever you are, whoever you're with, just say out loud for me, towel. When you've done that,
towel.
I'm hearing at least 2 syllables, towel, right? You say the E-L at the
towel.
end or the W-E-L, whatever. We're getting into the finicky parts. This one wrecks me, right? Because the Aussies, especially my wife, will just say towel. And she'll just get rid of the
towel.
W and E in the word, and it'll just disappear, and it'll be towel. And you kind of think maybe it's towel, but with her, it just sounds like towel. Anyway, after much confusion and, her falling more and more in love with me, obviously, I said, "Oh, you mean towel. Okay, yes, here's your towel." I said, please, be clearer with your... No, I wouldn't say that to her. That would be horrible. But anyway, you learn to hear like an Aussie before you even speak like one. And that's what I'm learning more and more. Every single day I live in Australia, assimilating into the culture. I have to train my ear before I train my voice. Wow, you can quote me on that. That was a good one. Vitamin. Okay, Brits. I think both Australia and the USA are against us on this one. Not just vitamin. They'll soften that T, which actually I think that's quite cute.
We do it. Well, not every American. I think that's also kind of either a person or a regional thing too. But like, some people will really pronounce the T like vitamin. But I think most people turn the T into a D for a lot of words like this. Vitamin.
Like that, I have to say. When we say vitamin, it's also like tight in the jaw. It's also clenched. It's like, chill out, man. Calm yourself down. Now look, I learned this one again from my wife. Font of all knowledge in my life, obviously. I learned how to say vitamin. much sooner on than I needed to before, going to the pharmacy or the doctors. If I get an audition through here in Australia and the script says vitamin, I'm going to have to practice my vitamin. Garage. Oh, it's a classic, isn't it? Garage. I remember when I first heard an American say garage.
Okay, so this is the thing about the word garage that's weird to me, that nobody ever says anything about for some reason. People always say it's either garage or garage, but that's not true. I don't say garage or garage. I say garage, like a j. Like kind of like you're saying garage, I'm saying garage. I don't do the j part. And I think most people in Illinois also say just garage. We don't do the garage thing. I don't know who does that, but I think it's really weird.
Garage, and I was watching a garage. Look at me, I'm saying it. A garage band tutorial back when I was 15 years old, and I thought I was Billy Joel himself. I was trying to make all my tunes on Garage Band. The guy was like, "Hey there, welcome back to Garage Band," and I thought, oh my word, can you imagine saying it like that? And then I go and fall in love with an Australian, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to just put that in the garage?" And I go, No, please tell me Australians don't say it like that. Number 6 is data. Brits say data, Aussies say data. And they do that thing again where they soften the T. Right.
We say data.
It's data.
D-A-D-A.
It is. Come on, you can't put a T in the middle of 2 A's and, just leave it. Just softly tipple it, Tipple it, is that a word? I understand that. I'm adding a Y in there. All right. Just ignore that, but come on, data. Look, I know I'm giving it a lot here, right? But don't worry.
So this is another one of those things where Americans do it both ways. They say data and well, not data. They say data and data. For whatever reason, when people say data, it bugs me. It bugs me so much hearing somebody say data, because we all say data. Like everyone I know, well, I guess that's not true. I think it's more of a person-to-person thing than it is a regional thing. But I don't know, it bugs me when people say data. I say data.
I can also take the heat. She gives it a lot back. After a while, you just have to adapt your lingo for the person that you love.
His wife's cute.
If you don't, it's just going to make it difficult. So I will purposefully use Australian vocabulary. And the longer you live here, the more you realise that it kind of is like a different language. I now say doona instead of duvet. I now say devo instead of devastated. I now say arvo instead of afternoon. And honestly, I quite like it. Number 7 is yogurt. UK yogurt makes perfect sense to me. Y-O, ya man. Oh, okay, right. I can already see the flaw in this. Bear with me. Aussies say yogurt. And when Maddie said yogurt to me for the first time in Japan, my mind was blown. She was like, "No, we've always called it that." And I thought, since when? I thought. And, the first time I said yogurt in front of Maddie, she laughed at me. I thought, wait, why are you laughing at me? Going back to the start of this, I can understand, right? It doesn't quite make sense when we say yogurt, because you would say yo for yo-yo or yo man. Do I still say yogurt to the person at the Yochi counter? Yes, I do. And that's all I say. They'll say, "Hey, how you going?" And I'll say yogurt. And then they kick me out. Language, it's like cultural muscle memory. And mine is very much out of sync here.
That is true. Your language is like a sort of like a muscle memory. Like you speak the way you speak. You can't control it unless you're thinking about it. And so that's why accents are a thing. And I think that, to his point, like when you're living amongst people that are all speaking a certain way, naturally you're going to pick it up and you're going to start saying certain things that they say. I feel like that's very natural. Even just not with a country to country, but like in friend groups, when you get a new friend and you start hanging out with them all the time, sometimes you start picking up their mannerisms or certain things that they say or do. And I think it's because you like admire it, So I think it's totally normal for people to pick up and start speaking the way other people are speaking if they're around it a lot. But at the same time, you already have your base language. So you can't get angry at people for using terminology in their own language or own phrasing or whatever they're used to also. You know, I always think it's so weird when people get angry at other people for saying something different in another country. The only people I get mad at for how they pronounce things is other fellow Americans when they're saying something wrong, just completely wrong for no reason at all. Like the word both, B-O-T-H. Some people say both and they put an L in it. Why? That's weird.
Working on it though, trust me, I am working on it. Number 8 is pasta. Now, I say pasta.
Pasta.
Brits say pasta. Aussies say pasta.
That's what we say.
Not sure about that one. Pasta. You know, so much beautiful cultural history in one word. The Italians who gifted us this delicious food. And Aussies, even though they hear the Italian and go pasta, they have to go pasta. Oh my gosh, do Italians say pasta? Wait, I need to look.
I don't think they do,
I need to look,
I think
that
they
means
say
I'm
pasta.
actually wrong. Oh my gosh, maybe I just need to retitle this entire video, Watch British Guy Get Every Word Wrong. Oh my word. Italian pronounce pasta.
Pasta.
What do you say?
To be fair, I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. Because that sounds more, to me, that sounds more like pasta than pasta. Oh my.
I don't know. I've never heard someone who's actually from, like, born and raised in Italy say the word pasta or pasta. I've never heard someone just say the word. The only people who I know in America who say pasta are typically like the Italian Americans, people who were born in America, but like maybe their parents or grandparents came from Italy, and I hear them say pasta, but we all say pasta.
Word. Are the Brits just wrong about all of these words? Oh my days. Right. Moving on. Number 9 is card. Now, okay,
How do you say
right.
that?
Surely 1 point to Sam for this one. Card. Right?
Card.
Aussies will say card. I'm overdoing it there. Actually, no, I'm not. There's quite a lot of very broad accented Aussies who say card. And sometimes it's so harsh that you kind of can't understand what they say, at least for me anyway. Card seems simple. So with the Aussie accent, they pronounce it more like this, you know. There's almost like no R in it at all. It's like a car. Now, to be completely honest with you, it is really funny.
What is he talking about? The Brits also say it without an R in it, cod. They're not saying the R either. We're the only ones saying the R. What is he talking about? I actually think Aussies sound like, I think you can tell cod is card more so than cod is card. I think the Aussie one sounds more normal, personally. Because there's also like accents in the US that sound like that. Like we'll say the R still, but like they'll still pronounce it that way, but just adding the R. Like Boston, for instance.
I will be here for like many months at a time and only go visit the UK for a couple of months to, you know, catch up with family, maybe do Christmas Day, all of that stuff. And they'll catch me saying Aussie words like doona. Yeah, when I catch myself forgetting certain like British words that I would normally say, I remind myself, oh yeah, like the UK is still my home, and while Australia is my home as well, and I really love it here. I sometimes, you know, that homesickness creeps in. Number 10, finally.
Paywave?
Paywave. What is Paywave? Paywave, right, is when you take your card or your Apple Pay or your Google Pay and you just tap on the machine and the payment goes through. In the UK, we call that contactless. And I love that word. But Paywave's such an interesting one because I tried saying contactless here and no one got it. Fair enough if you don't say it here. Right, Paywave. Is that a company name? Yeah, but where does it so it comes from Visa? I've never even heard Paywave. Is that the company? Let's just guess that's the company because honestly, can't be asked to find out. It's just a bit weird. So then did Visa call it contactless in the UK? Because if so, why did they? Yeah, it's called contactless in the UK, and it says that on the Visa website, but it's called PayWave in Australia. You would have thought these global companies would have had, you know, global conference calls with each other and gone, oh, should we all agree on a term, a name together? And they go, yeah, what about PayWave? What about contactless? Maybe the Brits didn't want to.
I've heard the word contactless and I knew what that meant, but like, I only knew what it meant because of YouTube. Like, people don't use that word here. I've never heard PayWave. That's completely new to me. I've never heard of that. I think people here just say tap, but we also don't really do the tap. Most people still are either sliding their card, or not sliding their card, doing the chip, or paying in cash. I don't think the tap, or like, I don't know. Maybe it's just my generation that still does it, because maybe the younger generations does like the Apple Pay and all that.
Call it PayWave, and Aussies didn't want to be like the Brits. So now look, my Aussie lingo skills might not be the best in the world, but what I've got pretty good at learning is knowing exactly what the secret rules are that tourists keep breaking. They're unspoken rules that they won't tell you at the airport. So if you want to find out what they are, go watch this video right now. Thank you so much for watching to the end. It means a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Oh, wow. I really like this guy, honestly. He seems like such a nice, sweet guy, like way more down to earth than like how British people normally come across, you know? He seems like way less uptight, you know what I mean? Like, Brits always seem like really, really uptight about kind of everything, and he seems very just relaxed and chill. Or maybe he's just lived there long enough now. But like, very few Brits do I watch where I'm like, wow, that Brit is just real chill. Like, Truck at Prail, he's very chill. He's one of the chillest Brits I've ever seen. And this guy. Otherwise, a lot of them are pretty uptight. But I really like this channel. It's the first time I ever watched him. And he has other videos very similar to this one that I would really like to react to. And if you guys would like me to react to another one of his videos, let me know in the comments. But yeah, anyway, this video is getting long, so I'm going to end it here. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and I'll see you next time.